Today we're going to take a look at the BMW i3's extra controls and just take a deeper dive into the iDrive system. Now, the i3 is a very clever car and it has lots of features and functions, so I'm going to do my best to go through as many of them for you today. If you haven't yet seen our handover video of the BMW i3, be sure to check that out because that runs through some of the essential features and functions to help get you up and running. To start with, we're going to run through some of the driver-facing controls. So first of all, let's take a look at the driver's dash display. On here you get some of your important information such as the speed you're travelling, the estimated range left in the battery. You've also got a button on the end of the indicator stalk which when you press it you can actually scroll through a few different options. So things such as your total mileage of the car, the remaining battery in percentage terms, efficiency, the outside temperature, the time and so on. Then moving on to the steering wheel, you've got your cruise control buttons on the left hand side. The bottom button here, you press that to enable cruise control and then you can set the speed using the set button. You can adjust the speed by pushing this toggle up and down to increase and decrease. And then if, for example, you've pressed the brakes or you've stopped the car and you want to resume where you last left off, you can press the resume button and then that will reset the cruise control to where it was last set. On the right hand side, you've got your media controls. You've got the mode button to switch between your FM DAB radio and other media. You've got the volume buttons, plus and minus on the right hand side. This scroll wheel here, say you're on the DAB radio, you can scroll up and down to select which radio you'd like and then push it in to make the selection. This button is for your phone, so once your phone is connected you can press this to engage in a phone call. You can answer a call if it's coming through, or if you're on an active call you can use that to hang up. Finally, the bottom right hand side, this is your voice activation control. Now before jumping into the media center itself, I just wanted to quickly run over the heating controls here in the center. Quite simple, to switch on you just press the auto button. You can then select the temperature using this dial here. You can increase and decrease the fan speed using these buttons. Now if you go all the way to the bottom, that actually switches the system off. You can alter where the airflow is coming from with this button here, be it the windscreen, front vents or the footwell. This is your front screen demister, this is your rear screen demister. Whilst we're in this area here, I'll just also point out these programmable buttons at the top. You can save things such as a radio station, your favourite contact, or maybe an area within the menu itself. To actually program one of these buttons, you just need to navigate to what it is you want to save. So for example, we can go into the DAB radio here, and say I want to save this radio station here. Just hold down the button, and now BBC Radio Extra is now saved on channel 2. So if I go into Radio Now, change that to Radio 2 for example, if I press 2, it changes it back to 1 extra. Just before we dive into the infotainment system, I do want to point out the mode button just to the left of the iDrive wheel. This allows you to cycle through all of the car's modes, including Sport, which gives you that nice quick zippy feeling, very responsive throttle pedal, and the maximum amount of power is available to the car. Comfort maintains quite a zippy feel, takes a little bit of the throttle response away however. And then you've got its Eco Pro and Eco Pro Plus modes. Now these are, if you're on going on a longer journey and you want to preserve as much battery life as possible, then these modes could be ideal. Eco Pro will essentially reduce some of the car's power and limit the car to a top speed of 75 miles an hour. While Eco Pro Plus, that restricts the car's power even further and restricts the car to a maximum speed of 56 miles an hour. Also in Eco Plus, you'll find that majority of the climate control is disabled as well, just to completely maximise on the car's efficiency. So let's take a look at the iDrive system. Now, the iDrive is controlled using this wheel here, which you can turn around, push in, and it also can be pushed in either direction, up and down. Now you do have some shortcut buttons around the wheel itself. This basically allows you to get to your media nice and easily, communications or telephone. This button takes you to the main menu, and then this is your map and navigation. If we go to the main menu, you'll see straight away you've got your media and radio settings. So if we pop into that, here you'll be able to choose if you want to listen to your DAB or FM radio. If we select DAB, for example, it then gives you a list of the stations which you can scroll down through using the wheel, and when you find one you like, just push the iDrive wheel in and you'll then be listening to that radio station. If you move the iDrive wheel to the left, you then have options such as saving the particular station to your favourites. So if we come out of that, you've got the same again for your FM radio, your online entertainment if you have the connected services enabled. Music collection in here, if you've got some of your favourite songs on a USB pen drive, for example, and that's plugged in, you can access that through this menu here. Then if you come out of here, you can connect to your telephone and also USB if you've got a particular USB device as well that you want to play music from. If we go down a little further, you've got your sound settings. So in here, you can adjust the audio for the speakers of the car. And you've also got volume settings here, which allows you to adjust, for example, the automatic increase and decrease of volumes based on the speed you're driving. So, for example, if you're on the motorway, your speed increases, the ambient noise increases. So what this does is it just brings up the volume of the music itself in line with that. You've also got options to adjust sounds such as your parking sensors and notification tones as well. Down one more and we've got the manage mobile devices. So in here you can connect your telephone if you haven't already. So if we go to do that now, select telephone. So I need to bring up the Bluetooth now on my phone and search for this BMW i97594. Once you see it on screen, select that from your phone and then click pair and OK on the iDrive. Your mobile phone is now connected. Now our phone is connected, you'll see this now as part of the media options. So you can select your phone and then search the media on the phone itself. You can go through the artist tracks or just enable the shuffle mode and just listen to everything on there. If we go to artists, for example, select an artist, select a song, and this will start playing. Now, if you've got multiple songs from the same artist, as with everything, you can scroll up and down using the iDrive wheel. So back to the main menu. Now our phone's connected, we can go into the communications menu. In here, you'll be able to access all of your phone's contacts as well as recent calls. You've got the ability to dial a number. The Manage Mobile Devices menu is basically the one we set up the phone in originally. And then you've got things such as your BMW assistants and iMessages. So if you want to dial a number, go into here. You can either do the voice input using the automation, or you can simply dial the number using the wheel. So back to the main menu, we move over to navigation. In here you can input an address that you wish to navigate to. This one's already been pre-populated. Once you've filled out the relevant details, you just go down to the bottom and click Start Route Guidance. Now it will calculate the route itself, and yeah, once that's in place, you're pretty much good to go. You can make a few changes, however. So if you move the iDrive wheel to the left, you get a few different options here. The very top one, if you select that, it can cancel the route in progress. If you select route, this will, if there's an alternative route or a more economical route here, you can select that from this menu here. In addition, you can enable and disable the spoken instructions as well as the live traffic information as well. If you scroll down a little further, you also have map views. Now in here, you can basically change whether the map is pointing in the direction of travel or whether some people do prefer it to remain pointing north. You can do that and set that in here as well. Now, if you've got the BMW professional nav screen like we have here, you can also set it up to have a split screen function. So if you move the iDrive wheel to the right, you can enable split screen. Now, if I scroll over into that, you can change that to currently selected, map north orientated. You can have the arrow view, basically change a multitude of options. You can bring up your onboard computer, your media, and so on. So, for example, if you want to see what's playing in your media as well as your satellite navigation, you can have the two things running together, which is brilliant. And also on the map screen itself, you can zoom in and out using the iDrive wheel. Going back to the main menu, moving over, you've got your connective drive option here, which basically takes you to your connective drive services if you choose to subscribe to them. This gives you access to a variety of non-essential services, including an app to control some of the functions of the car, BMW online directory, among other things. It can also be used to contact BMW in the event of a problem, which you may require some support. Next, you have My Vehicle. In here, you've got a range of vehicle settings that you can adjust, things such as the lights, both the interior and exterior. For example, on exterior lighting, you might want to adjust the one touch of the turn signal. So at the moment, if you don't fully engage the indicator, it will flash 3 times. You can change that. You can also enable the welcome home lights and set the duration of them. Then you've got the doors and keys. Options in here can include when you unlock the car, you can set for it to unlock all of the doors or just the driver's side door, for example. You can also set whether the car doors automatically relock if you haven't opened the car door for a certain period of time after unlocking it. Other options also include locking the car after pulling away, unlocking the car at the end of your journey, and also, flashing the lights when you lock and unlock the vehicle. You've also got the speed warning, which you can set. So for example, if you're on the motorway and you want to set that to 70 miles an hour, you'll get an audible warning if you exceed that speed. Traction control enables you to switch off the traction control if you need to for any reason. You've also got the acoustic pedestrian warning sound, which can be enabled or disabled in this menu. Then you've got parking, and in here you can enable or disable the automatic PDC activation, which basically it's just when you're maneuvering slowly, it will bring up your parking distance sensors screen so you can, maneuver more easily. Then you've got the ability to make some of the adjustments to the Eco Pro settings, which includes changing the speed limit that we spoke about earlier. You've got Activate Auxiliary Climate. So in here you can activate this and basically plan your departure time. So for example, if you're leaving for work at 7 o'clock every morning, you want the car to be preheated, ready for your journey, you can set all of that in here. And then you have vehicle tracking, which basically will allow you to see your car's last known location if you've, for example, got the BMW Connective Drive app. So moving down, you've got your iDrive settings. So mobile devices, that's where we were at earlier, where we set up our mobile phone. Language, obviously self-explanatory. You've got the touchpad as well, which on the iDrive wheel itself, this is actually a touchpad technically, but I do find it quite fiddly to use and prefer just to use the physical button. Under displays, you can set things such as the brightness of the infotainment screen. Date and time, again, quite self-explanatory. One thing I would suggest you do go in and select though is the automatic time setting. That way, as the British summertime begins and ends, the car's time will update automatically for you. In units, this is quite useful, especially if you're thinking of travelling abroad or anything like that. You can change, for example, your distance from miles to kilometres. And likewise, your tyre pressures, if you want to change that from bar to PSI, you can do that in here as well. Sound is the same sound settings that we went through in the media section. And notifications, you can just set what notifications it is you'd like to be informed of, and you'll get notification symbol at the top if anything has come through. Pop-ups, when that's enabled, as you change your driving mode, it will pop up on screen just to show you what mode you've selected. And software updates, where you can see what version of software you're currently running. Getting started, you just set your language in there, and data privacy, if you don't want the car logging your location, speech recognition and things like that, you can switch all of that off in here. Contents of the main menu, that's basically the main menu itself and how that's displayed. So with navigation, for example, it's currently set to map, as you can see here, but if you wanted that to show the next instruction for the navigation, you could have that set as well. So the planned charging and climate control, obviously we spoke about the auxiliary heating earlier, but you can also set a charging timer. So for example, it's currently set to charge immediately, so as soon as the cable's plugged in, that's when the car will begin charging. What you can do though is either set the car to charge for a particular departure time, so it makes sure that you've got the optimum amount of charge for the time you're looking to depart, or you've got like for example, the Octopus Go tariff, which varies overnight, and you want the car to charge between two particular times. You can set that in here as well. Driver profiles is very useful as well, especially if you've got multiple people driving the same car. So you can save all of your preferred settings under your own profile, and you can also map the profile to your key as well. So if you've got two keys, the car is clever enough to know which key has entered the car, and it will load the appropriate profile for that. Vehicle status is very useful. In here you can check things such as your tyre pressures, also if there's any fault showing up on the car itself, as well as whether you've got any service requirements. So if the car's due a service and things like that, you can check all of that from within this menu. Technology in action is where you'll find your iDrive menu. So with that, it just basically shows you how efficiently that you're driving. Driving information is your onboard computer and trip computer, how far you've driven, how long it's taken you, and all of that information can be found within that. And then you've got the owner's handbook, which basically is the full car manual built into the car's infotainment system, which is fantastic. You've got the quick reference guide, you can search for particular keywords if there's something in particular you're looking for. But if we go into the quick reference guide, for example, it separates it into individual menus, so opening and closing, seats, mirrors and steering wheel. And as you go into that, you then get given further options, so adjusting the seat. And then you get given this nice diagram that shows you how to operate the forward and backward motion, as well as the height and backrest angle. And then the final option on the menu is just your notifications. And that's it. So I hope you found this video useful. As you can see with the i3, that there's so many different settings and everything else that you can configure that I would just recommend spending half an hour or so just sitting down, going through all of the menus and setting everything to your own preference. If you do have any questions though, please do let us know in the comments below, or give our team a call. We're always very happy to help our customers. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your new i3.